In this video, I'm going to talk through my edit and print workflow using a photo I recently took during a stunning sunrise in the Peak District. Hi, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to edit and print this photo from my recent sunrise shoot at Mam Tor in the Peak District. I'll put a link to the video of that up here. Okay, so here's the shot that I took in the Peak District at the top of Mam Tor on a beautiful misty foggy sunrise morning, and this is the raw image that I brought into Lightroom. And I'm going to edit it and print it out. So to start with, we're going to go into the develop module and make some corrections. So this is the image in RAW, as I say, and what I'm going to do is just play around with the sliders until I get the result that I want. So in the develop module, I'm going to just check my white balance to start with. So let's have a look. Let's find somewhere that we can take a white balance point from. That's too cold. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the slider around until I see the effect I like. So I reckon about 7,700-ish, something like that. Plus 15 on the tint. I'm not really moving that. I'm happy with what I've got there. Right, my first job I think is to go down to lens corrections, just make sure profile corrections are enabled and chromatic aberration has been removed. I always tend to do that first. That's my first port of call. And then I'm going to bring down the highlights all the way down to -100 and the shadows up to nearly 100, about 94-ish, something like that. I'm going to boost the contrast because that's made it a little bit flat. So contrast, I'm adding about 25 to 30, in the middle 27, let's try that. And then when I'm holding down the option key on the Mac, I'm moving the white and the black sliders around. So what I'm going to do is reset the white point and the black point just to make sure that I'm not clipping any highlights or shadows. So that's the white set. Got +6 and the blacks to about -29, -30, something like that. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to boost the texture a little bit. So let's go see what that looks like. I don't want to boost the texture too much because I don't want to bring out too much detail in the fog in the trees here. So it's a bit of a balancing act between the foreground and the area over here. So let's go for about 22, something like that. Just a touch of clarity, maybe 7 or 8. Not going to use the dehaze. Vibrance, let's give the colours a boost. So let's have a look at maybe -22, something like that. And that's good. I'm happy with that. I think there's just a little bit too much light in the sky still, obviously because the sun's rising there. So I'm going to add a linear Grad mask. And I'm just going to hold the shift key to keep the horizon level. Just make sure that's positioned where I want it in relation to the horizon. Then I'm just going to go over to the highlights and just reduce the highlights. So can you see what that's doing? It's just affecting the highlight areas, strangely enough. So I'm going to go to say minus 60, something like that. Let's see what that looks like. I'm just going to press the preview. on the mask layer. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So we'll remove the masking panel. Okay, so that's the finished picture. I think I'm quite happy with that. All the highlights and details are there. I've kept all the detail in the sky, and I've kept the soft areas down here. I've got detail in the shadows down here and down here, and it's quite clear over in the hills just here. So I'm really happy with that. That looks pretty good. So to compare that with the before, in fact, let's do a before and after side by side. So that's the before and after. So you can see that controlling the highlights and shadows during your editing can really bring out the details and the colour in the image. So I think it's time to print. I've decided to print this photo on an A3 sheet of Platinum Baryta from Fotospeed. I've chosen this paper because it's a contrasty image and with deep shadows in the foreground corners, and I shot towards the bright morning sun. Baryta is great for colourful images, and I think this choice of paper will bring out the warm orange tones of the sky. And because I really love this picture, I think it's one of the best from my trip. I wanted to print it on a high quality paper, so this Baryta fits the bill perfectly. So still looking at this image in the develop module, what I'm going to do is go down to soft proofing. So soft proofing is going to give me a visual representation of what the printed image will look like on paper. So what I'm first going to do is, as we've looked at before, I'm going to print this on Fotospeed Platinum Baryta paper. So what I'm going to do is go down to the profile here, and this is a list of all the different papers that I've got. They're all from Fotospeed, apart from two actually. And this is the place where you can actually tell the visual representation what to imagine the paper or the picture on. So this is where I'm going to choose my Baryta paper profile. So it's this one here, and this is actually one that I've had custom made. So Fotospeed have actually made this for my specific printer and ink. So I'm going to choose that one. I've got simulate paper and ink selected, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to increase the exposure by about 1/3 of a stop. So 1/3 of a stop, 0.3. And then because I've changed it, it's asking me if I want to make a proof copy. So I'm going to say yes, create a proof copy. And then you can see here that it changes the file name to a relative to the Platinum Baryta ICC profile. So I'm going to choose relative as well, rather than perceptual. Relative seems to give slightly better colour. And that's fine. That's all I need to do. So that's my proof preview. So I'm happy with the adjustments that I've made. Now it's time to go into the print module. So I've actually set this up already just to save some time, but what I've got here is in page setup, I've made sure that my printer is selected. I've chosen A3 paper, and my scale is 100%. So that's sorted there. Next I need to go down on the right hand side and choose what I want to do with the image settings and layout and so on and so forth. So what I've decided to do is have a 1-inch border all the way around, and this is where you can choose to print multiple rows, multiple columns if you wanted to make a grid. But obviously I don't want to do that. I just want one picture, so I've got 1 rows and 1 column. Cell size and width, that has actually been moved up to the maximum and I've controlled the picture size by using the margins. So the margins are 1 inch all the way around, as I say. And then going all the way down to print job, print resolution is 300 ppi, and print sharpening I've selected standard. I always select standard. And then this is important, color management. So what I'm going to do is get Lightroom to use my ICC profile, which Fotospeed have made me, to control the color being output by the printer. So color management, I'm going to choose once again the Platinum Baryta, my custom ICC profile, and again relative, because that's the relative intent, because that's the one that we chose in the soft proofing stage, and I'm happy with that. Good. So now we go to printer and we choose my printer. So that's the Epson ET-8550, and first of all I'm going to go down to color matching. Now I want to make sure, this is just a double check stage, just to make sure that the printer isn't managing the color. So you can see here that color sync and Epson color controls are grayed out. I can't do anything about those, and that's good because Lightroom is controlling the color rather than the printer. And then we go down to print settings, and according to the Fotospeed website, it has instructed me for the use of Platinum Baryta paper to choose Epson Premium Semi-Gloss as the media type, which I've done, and that's in here. These are all the different options that the printer provide for their paper, but for Fotospeed's purpose they've instructed me to use Premium Semi-Gloss, and that's in the profiling pack that's downloadable from the Fotospeed website. It tells you which paper to select, and to be honest, most of them are Epson Premium Semi-Gloss. So that's good, and obviously printing in high quality. And now we press print and send it to the printer. So this is the finished print. It is printed beautifully on this paper. The detail and sharpness across the image is excellent, and it really lets the warm tone shine through. I'm very happy with the brightest part of the print. The cloud has shielded the direct sun towards the camera position perfectly. But in the dark areas in the bottom corners, the detail is still fairly evident. I think if I was to print this again, I'd maybe boost the shadows just a little bit, but I actually don't mind the bottom corners being this dark because it leads your eye through the gate and towards the sunrise. Anyway, I hope you like this image, and if you found this video of some use, please do give it a thumbs up and help this channel out by hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.